One more time. One more time. One more time.
Oh, hey, scholars. Didn't see you there. Well, it is time for one more time to learn all about time and clocks, and I'm so excited to jump in with you. So let's do it. Today we are going to be looking at Module 5, Lesson 12. That means we're almost done with this module, and then we'll be on to the next one. So let's get it started. Let's read this first problem together. We are going to start reading on 2. Get ready. 1, 2. Shade the clock from the start of a new hour through half an hour. Explain why that is the same as 30 minutes. Go ahead and pause and solve on your page now. Cool. Now that you did that, let's do it together. So it says, shade the clock from the start of a new hour through half an hour. Explain why that is the same as 30 minutes. So what it's asking us to do is show how much time passes from the beginning of an hour all the way to the end. So first, I'm going to draw my minute and hour hands pointing at 12 o'clock. You could have chosen any time that you wanted. I'm going to choose 12 o'clock. So first, we're going to draw our hour hand, which is that's right, it's the shorter hand. And then we're going to draw the minute hand, which is that's right, it's the longer hand. Don't get tricked. And both hands are pointing straight up at 12 o'clock. They're pointing at 12. You got it. Now let's draw the two hands showing 12:30. So we need to show, so I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use red to show the two hands now showing 12:30. So we need to start at 12 with the hour hand. And then if I'm going to show half an hour has passed on my clock, where should my minute hand point? Should it point up here, over here, or down here, all the way straight down? That's right, it should point all the way straight down at the number 6. So let's draw it doing that now. There's my minute hand. Now it wants us to shade how much time has passed. So I'm going to use my pencil here and shade how much time has passed. So we started all the way here and we went all the way down here and all this, and all this time in between has passed. So we started all the way at 12 o'clock and we moved half an hour and ended at 12:30. Why is passing half of an hour the same thing as passing 30 minutes of time? Think. That's right. Passing half an hour is the same thing as passing 30 minutes because how many minutes are in 1 hour? That's right, there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. I'm going to write this down on my page. You can write it down on your page if you'd like. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Since there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, half of the number 60 would be the number 30. That's right. We know that because in a clock, for example, where there are 60 minutes that are represented, halfway through that clock, we get to 30 minutes that have been passed. So that means there are 30 minutes in half of an hour. So now let's go down to the explain part. So how do we know that half of an hour is the same thing as 30 minutes? We just said it over here. So go ahead and use your own words to explain how you know that 30 minutes is the same thing as passing half of an hour. Nice job. We are going to move on to the next page. The next page looks like this. Let's read the directions together. Your finger is on the word show. If you have the packet, go ahead and put your finger on the word show. If you don't have the packet, go ahead and put your finger as close to the screen as possible without touching the screen on the word. Get ready, go. Show the time below on your analog clock. So we see 3 different analog clocks right here and 3 different times. This one says 3 o'clock. This one says half past. Remember what half past means from yesterday. Let's read it one more time. Half past 5 o'clock. And the last one says 2 o'clock. The last one says pause and show the time written below each of these clocks on the clock. Nice job. Now that you did that, let's go over it together. So if we are going to draw lines on our analog clocks, we must always start with the hour hand. We must start with the hour hand helps us know what hour that we're in. And here's a little trick for you. The hour hand is the shorter hand. The minute hand is the longer hand. The word hour, let's type it out over here. The word hour, H-O-U-R, is shorter than the word minute, M-I-N-U-T-E. So I always remember that since the word hour is shorter, it's the shorter hand. And since the word minute is longer, it's the longer hand. Hopefully that helps you. You might have your own tricks and tips to help you remember which hand is which. If you do, I would love to know. Okay, let's do the first one together. So the first one says 3 o'clock. So I'm going to use my hour hand first, which is the shorter hand. And I'm going to draw it pointing at 3. And if we are at o'clock, I know that we are pointing straight up. We're pointing straight. So I'm going to draw that, pointing straight up. Now the next one says half past 5 o'clock. Remember that half past is the same thing as saying, half past 5 o'clock is the same thing as saying 5:30. So half past means half past the original hour. So if we're at 5 o'clock, 5:00, half past that would be 5:30. So let's draw the hour hand pointing at 5, short hour hand, and our long minute hand pointing at straight down at 30. Good, now we have 2 o'clock. Gonna draw the hour hand pointing at 2 and the minute hand pointing all the way straight up at o'clock. Nice job. Make sure you check your work and that you got something that looks like my page. If you didn't, pause and fix your page now. You can pause at any time and fix your own page. Watch this video at your own pace. And since we are at a good pause point, I have some shout outs for some scholars who are zooming through Zern, and I am so impressed with your hard work. Robert, you are doing such an awesome job on Zern. Keep it up. Caleb, you have completed 4 lessons on Zern this week. Nice job. Skylar March, you've also completed 4 lessons on Zern this week. Way to go, Skylars. I have more shout outs coming. Don't you worry. All right, now let's work with our digital clocks. So I see on this next part that I see 3 digital clocks. Let's read the directions first to make sure we don't get tricked. It says, read it with me, on 2, 1, 2, show the time below on your digital clock. Go ahead and pause and solve now. Nice job. Now that you solved on your own, let's solve together. So 4:30. Does that mean 4 o'clock or 4:30? Raise your hand for 4 o'clock. Raise your hand for 4:30. Yeah, you got it. I couldn't trick you. It is 4, 2 dots for the colon to separate the hour and the minute, 30. Next one says 3:30, so go ahead and write that. 3:30. And the last one says 1 o'clock. Does that look like 1:00 or 1:30? That's right. It looks like 1:00 for 1 o'clock. Nice. Let's read the last set of directions on this page together. It says, read it with me, on 2, 1, 2. Write the time on each clock on the line below. So now we flipped it a little bit. Now the time is on here for you on the clocks, and you need to write what time it is on the lines below. Before you do that, I have some more shout outs. I want to shout out Rashawn and Levi and Charles in UC. You guys have done such an awesome job on Zern. Keep it up. We are so proud of you, and we love you, and we miss you so, so, so much. All right, go ahead and pause and solve the next 3 problems on your own. Nice job. Now that you did that, let's do it together. So when I'm looking at a clock, I'm always going to look for the hour hand or the shorter hand first. I'm always going to look for that's right, I'm always going to look for the shorter hand first. So on this first clock, I see the shorter hand pointing at 4, and I see the minute hand or the longer hand pointing at o'clock. So that tells me that we are at 4 o'clock. Nice job. Next one, let's look at the hour hand first. It looks like the hour hand is pointing at 10, and the minute hand is pointing straight down at 30. So I'm going to write 10:30. Give me 2 thumbs up if you have 4 o'clock and 10:30 for those first 2. Nice job. You are working so hard. Keep it up. Next one. We see the hour hand is pointing at 1, and the minute hand is pointing straight down at 30. So this one wants you to write it as 1:30 o'clock. The hour is 1, so we're going to write 1:30 o'clock, which is the same thing as 1:30. It's the same thing as, you got it. Now we are going to go down to the next page. You are going to solve these next 3 on your own. Let's read the directions together. Get ready, go. Write the time on each clock on the line below. Pause and solve on your own. Nice. Now that you did that, let's go over them together. This digital clock right here says 10:30. So we need to write the time as 1:30 o'clock. The hour is 10, so I'm going to write 10:30 o'clock. Give me an air high five if you got that one. Nice job. This clock right here shows me 3 o'clock, so I'm going to write 3, and o'clock is already written for you. Next one says 5:30. The hour is 5, so I'm going to write 5. And they already wrote 30 for us. Nice job. Now we are going to do this first word problem together. Then this is your independent practice, okay? So let's get started. We are looking at number 1. It starts with the word Jaslyn. I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see it extra clear. Get ready. We're reading on 2, 1, 2. Jaslyn's dance class starts at 3 o'clock. Remember that. This is a different type of word problem that we have never seen before, so I'm going to mark it up with you. I'm going to circle 3 o'clock because that is important to my word problem. Let's keep reading. The class lasts half an hour. The class lasts half an hour. The class lasts. So half an hour tells us about how much time has passed. That's important for our word problem. Go ahead and circle it on your page now. Let's keep reading the question. Read it with me on 2, 1, 2. What does the clock look like when the class ends? So first, we need to figure out what time it is when the class ends. We know that the class starts at 3 o'clock. We know that the class lasts for half an hour. How many minutes is in half an hour? Raise your hand for 60. Raise your hand for 30. That's right. There are 30 minutes in half an hour. So that means Jaslyn's class starts at 3 o'clock and lasts for 30 minutes. So that means that it will end at what time? That's right. It will end at 3:30. So you need to show on the analog and the digital clock 3:30. Pause and show that time on both clocks now. Nice job. You did it on your own. Now let's do it together. So we're always going to start with the hour hand. We're going to point the hour hand straight at 30. And remember, the hour hand is the teeny tiny short one. And the minute hand pointing straight down at 30. Does this clock show 3:30? Agree or disagree? That's right. It shows 3:30. That means we are looking good. Next, we're going to write 3:30 on our digital clock. So we are going to write 3, and don't forget your 2 dots to separate the hours and the minutes. 30. Put both hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care if that's what you got on this problem. Nice job. Lastly, I have some more Zern shout-outs before you go. Zoe White, awesome job on Zern. Keep it up. I need you to keep that up, Zoe. You're doing such an awesome job. Kamaya Moore, awesome job on Zern. Kaden Patterson, awesome job on Zern. And Ava Ellis, whoa, you completed 6 lessons on Zern. Way to go, scholars. If I shouted out your name during this video, make sure you give yourself a big pat on the back and another pat on the back. And if you've been working hard all week, make sure you give yourself a big hug and make sure you give your families a big hug for all the hard work they've been doing too. Scholars, I miss you and I love you so very much, and I can't wait till we get back to school. Keep working hard. You got this, and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.